Maybe your group is starting back up for the season after a relaxed summer schedule. Maybe there's that one person in your group who is slowly disengaging and isn't coming out consistently anymore. In this video, we're going to give you 4 ways to get your group members to come out to your group meetings consistently every week. Hey guys, I'm Steve.
I'm Lyle.
And this is Level Up, the 10-minute monthly dose of leadership training that will help you take your next level group
to the next level. We believe strongly that the very first step in building strong, deep spiritual friendship is to simply show up. We also believe that leaders have a key role in that showing up, in making sure that their group is there at the weekly meeting. So we've come up with 4 ways that we think will be helpful for you as a leader to ensure increased attendance in your group. Here's the first way. It's why. Why does your group meet? I think as a leader, you can remind your group every single time you meet, week after week, this is why we do what we do, and this is why your attendance at this meeting is essential.
So Lyle, I'm a group leader. I get out of the car, I walk into my group meeting. I'm getting ready to say that opening thing that I say. What do I say?
Well, I think before you pray, before you say anything else, you gather them, you're going to say, hey, thanks everybody for being here. Here's why we're here. Here's why you left your busy life and your responsibilities. Just remind them once again why they came out to this group and why they're committed to it.
So what is the why? Can you give us some ideas about that?
A couple of whys. The first one I would say would be you need the others in the group. And the second one is the others need you. So you need the others in the group. So you're going to have a time of studying of the scriptures and whatnot. You need the insights that the Spirit is giving to the others in the group and their experiences and all that they've gone through. You need to hear, as you're wrestling through the scriptures, the things that they're teaching you. So I think that's a really essential part. If you don't show up, you don't get those insights. So God has designed community where we can grow from and get the benefits of all the opinions and thoughts and challenges that will come out from the scripture. I think then you often do sharing, and you're going to be sharing each other's lives. You need to know that what they're going through is not all that dissimilar to what you're going through. Sometimes that you're not alone in all these struggles. So I think that kind of sharing back and forth is really essential to know that you're not alone in the challenges of life. And that leads to the third point. You need the others because you need them to pray for you. Whatever you're facing, whatever your current thing is, whatever is going on in your heart, as you share that, you need their prayers. And if you're not there, of course, you're not going to get that. Well, also, the fact that if you're not there, you're not able to help them if they come. So helping the others in your group, remind them every week, we're here because of the others. You're here to be discipled, but you're here to disciple others. So you want to listen to them. You want to challenge them from the things in the Word, share your own opinions and thoughts and insights, and you want to pray for them. You want to say, hey, what's going on in your life, and invest in them. So those 2 things are really essential, I think, for showing up every week and being reminded that's why we meet. Yeah.
That's great. So way number 1, we want our guys to come out. We need to be reminding them why they should be there. And then way number 2 is as group leaders, we want to be reminding the people in our groups what they committed to. They actually made a commitment. They made a covenant to show up on a regular basis. And so reminding them of that will be one of the ways that we can encourage them to keep to it.
Yeah. So almost every group, right, starts with, at the beginning, we do launch and we end that time and we say, hey, let's make an agreement, a list of commitments that we'll make. And high on that list is almost always, we plan to show up every week and to be coming to engage in each other relationally. Yeah. So you would say that's an important thing. How often would you do this? Make this a regular thing? How would you do that?
It is important. In fact, I would say every month, just to pull out that sheet, the agreement that we made, the words that are on that paper, and to read those words and encourage the guys in it just briefly. Keep it kind of in front of our eyes, in front of our hearts, and in our minds, reminding us, why we're there, like point one,
Yeah.
but also of the commitment that we've made. That's point two.
Yeah. So point two is definitely to be reminding. Point one is to remind them. Point two is to bring up the covenant and say, hey, we all committed to this.
That's right.
Point three has to do with communication. A key role for leaders is the ability and the responsibility and the privilege to be able to communicate to those that they're leading on a regular basis.
So what does that communication look like? I mean, we come to the group, but what does that look like otherwise?
Well, I think we need communication throughout the week. We're talking about attendance here and how important it is. So during the week, it is important that we have some touchstones, some connections with our group throughout the week. I would suggest at least two times that a leader, co-leader, that work together on this and communicate by email to their group. The first one would be to communicate by email prior to a meeting, maybe 3 days, 4 days before, and say, hey, meeting's coming up. Here's what we're planning to do. Here's the topic. Here's the relevance. It's why it's important. You need to come out for this. We're looking forward to you being there. We expect you to be there. Those kinds of things will be in this, implied in this letter or explicitly said that we need to have them there. And here's how to prepare for it. So that's a touchstone throughout the week that I think is really important. Mm-hmm. Then you've had the meeting and you've discussed certain things. Within a day or two, I would suggest another follow-up email that would simply say, here's what we covered. Here is the value of it. But I think it's really important to thank each individual for their contribution. They need to know that they're valuable to the group, and them being there made a difference. So thank them for their contributions. But you almost always have action points, right? We want to be doers of the word. So I'm sure at the end of each session, there's something we can go out and do. Maybe it's to memorize a verse, write out something, make a phone call, whatever it is. Maybe it's to read something for the next week. I'm not sure. But that reminder of here's what we said we would do as a follow-up to put into practices. So that's another communication piece. Those two things is once before and once after each week. Really important.
That's great. Follow-up question here. What about the guy who maybe isn't responding to those communications? In fact, maybe he hasn't been out to group for a couple of weeks. And what do you do in that case?
Oh, so common, right? You've got one individual who's drifting off somehow, and they're not showing up on a regular basis. You can't let it go. That's the first thing, because if you let that go and you don't address it, then the others feel like, well, attendance isn't all that important.
Right.
So we as leaders need to do another kind of communication. It's more personal this time. You phone or call the person and say, hey, or email them or whatever. Communicate and say, can we get together for coffee? Because what you're going to find out in that time, you're not there to scold them. You're there to just say, hey, what's going on in your life? What are you facing right now? What's going on? We've missed you. Those kinds of things. He doesn't need to feel put down or whatever. He needs to feel pursued and valued. And so there you can ask questions. You never know what a person might be facing. Maybe they've had some sin in their life that just guilt has taken over and they don't feel worthy to come out. Or maybe there's some challenge relationally in his life that's going on, or maybe there's just workload. It could be a number of things. And so you don't want to jump to conclusions. You actually want to ask the person. And then, of course, in the midst of that, you want to encourage them to say, hey, you make a difference. We need you at the group. We think the group will be really valuable for you, even in the thing that you're facing right now that's keeping you from coming out. And just a personal encouragement will make a world of difference. So that's another kind of thing that a leader can do. Communicate throughout the week by email to the group in general, but personally to that individual who might not be attending regularly.
That's great. Yeah. So that's way number 3. And then way number 4. Way number 4 is just for us to pray as group leaders for the members in our group.
That's a great idea. So it sounds like you're making attendance kind of a spiritual issue. Would you agree it is?
Absolutely, I think it is. In fact, I think that the first thing that will keep the guys in our group from experiencing the blessing of their groups and the blessing that they can be to their groups is if they don't show up. In fact, I think the evil one wants to keep them from showing up, because then, hey, one victory is won. He's not there. He's not going to experience the blessing. In fact, he's isolating himself, which leads to destruction.
Yeah.
So I think we as group leaders can pray for our group members that they might actually attend the group meeting so they can experience the blessing that happens in that group meeting.
Yeah. So spiritual warfare is we counter what the evil one is doing through prayer, personalized prayer for each of the individuals in our group. Absolutely. That's a leadership role that could make a big difference in them showing up each week.
That's right. So way number 4, pray.
Yeah, pray. Yeah. So here's a quick review of what we said are the 4 ways you as a leader can encourage regular attendance in your group.
The first way is to remind them why they're there. Remind them of the purpose that they're coming each week.
Reason number 2 is pull out the agreement that you all made that you would show up every week because you felt it was valuable.
That's right. Reason number 3 is to communicate. Communicate with your group at least twice in between group meetings. And if there's that person who needs a particular pursuit, actually pursue them. Send them an email, give them a phone call, reach out to them, have a coffee, find out what's going on in their lives.
Yeah, and let's never underestimate the power of prayer. We need to intercede on behalf. That's what leaders do. They pray. They bring those that they lead before the Lord. And we know there's lots at stake. There's spiritual warfare, and so we're gonna stand in the gap for them.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. You group leaders, we love you. We appreciate you. You are doing a great job. Our hearts are to support and encourage you. So let us know better how we can do that by leaving comments below. Let us know about this video by leaving comments below. And check out the show notes underneath. There's 2 things there. The first is a succinct and kind of more point form review of everything that we talked about today so that you can actually take some particular action steps in your life and in your group. The second thing is kind of a bonus document, if you will. It's 4 questions to ask yourself as a leader if people aren't showing up. So that's a really valuable thing, just ways that you can kind of prayerfully check your heart and the state of your group as a group leader. Before you go, hit that subscribe button below. It's going to let you receive right to your kind of YouTube page these monthly videos that will be happening on a regular basis. We'd love for you to kind of join in with us on a regular basis for that. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. See you again.